Hey guys, Ernie here and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. A couple weeks ago I published a video about using a windscreen with my BRS titanium ultralight canister stove. I thought it was great. I showed this amazing improvement in boil time with using the windscreen, but as soon as I published it I started to get a couple of messages saying that maybe it wasn't safe. My initial reaction was, whatever, I mean it's safe, you know, it can't be that big a deal. Why else would they make a windscreen? But then I got more and more comments. And after about 20 or 30 minutes of the video being online, I thought, man, I need to pay attention. So I yanked it offline. I said, I need to look into this. So join me today as I dissect what I learned from this situation and find out, is it safe to use a windscreen with a canister stove? Thanks for watching. So the concept was pretty simple. Would using a windscreen around the canister stove decrease the boil time? And it did. It decreased it by 2 minutes. That's a huge amount of time. But like I said, I started to get all these comments about it not being safe. So I did a little Google research. And wouldn't you know it, like most Google research, half the people said, hey, I've done it for years, never had a problem. And the other half said, hey, this is a big problem. Your canister could get too hot and you could have it blow up. What answer do I go with? Do I go with the easy answer, which is, hey, all these people do it, no big deal, I'll do it too? Or do I pay attention to what's going on, look back at the situation, and learn from it? That's what I decided to do. First of all, during my video, I noticed that whenever I went to turn off the stove, it was hot. Just turning off the valve was very difficult because it was so hot. Initially, I thought, man, this is really creating a lot of heat. This is great. But then I started to get these comments and I started to think about it. I thought, man, this is not good. It was way too hot. Second of all, as you saw in the video, if you happen to see it before I took it down, I'll put a little overlay here of what happened. But the actual windscreen melted. It got so hot that the windscreen melted. Now, of course, this is an aluminum windscreen, and it's obviously going to melt under really hot conditions. But again, I thought to myself, if I'm going to weigh, is this safe or is this not safe? The area around the canister got super hot. In fact, so hot that it melted my windscreen. That's some alarm bells going off right there, folks. So what do? Do I say, hey, I'm sticking with pride? A lot of people do this around the internet, no big deal. Hardly anybody's had a canister blow up. Or do I say, listen, this is not a very good idea. Even if there's a small chance of some danger like this, I shouldn't do it. Well, I mean, obviously the answer is straightforward. I yanked the video, thinking about it, it absolutely makes sense. Looking back, it got way too hot. There's no doubt that if the area around it got so hot that that windscreen melted, that canister could get so hot that it could explode. I think the chances are low, but the chances are real. And that's why I yanked the video, and I really appreciate everybody's input. I never really thought about it. I never thought, man, this is not safe to do. I was too busy worried about decreasing boil time to think about safety. A great lesson learned here on YouTube, and it really shows what YouTube's all about, learning from each other. But the question still remains, can you use a windscreen safely with a canister stove? I think you still can. In the end, guys, what does a windscreen do? I use it to create almost like an oven around the cup, and it worked really well. But here's the deal, a windscreen is made to block the wind. So if I use a windscreen to do that and not overcrowd the canister and simply use it to shield off the area where the wind's coming, it should be safe. Maybe not as much, but I do think it'll decrease the boil time. So let's go outside, let's check it out, let's do it safely this time, and let's see if it works. All right, so we got 2 cups of water here in our ultralight Tokes 750 milliliter pot. We are going to start our BRS stove. There is very little wind, but there is a little bit of wind coming from this direction across. So we're going to start this up, put it to boil, and start our timer and see how long it takes. I also did, by the way, weigh this canister, so we're going to see how much fuel it takes to boil these 2 cups of water. Guys, we're almost there. All right, we're gonna call that a boil. 4 minutes, 6 seconds, really about 4 minutes. I'm gonna let this cool off a little bit, recycle the water, and reweigh the canister to see how much fuel we used, and then we're gonna try it with the windscreen. Okay, so like I said, the wind is coming across this way. Okay, so I'm gonna set up my windscreen along the back here. Okay, you guys should still be able to see this. So let's do this real quick. And turn this on. I'm gonna set it all up for y'all. You can see there is plenty of room back here. I mean, probably 2 or 3 inches, okay? and absolutely nothing in front. So it's totally safe to do this, all right? We're gonna put this on, start our timer, and let's see what we get. All right, guys, we are boiling. I'm gonna stop this, pull this back. You can automatically hear this starting to cut off, but you can see 2 minutes, 42 seconds compared to 4 minutes, safely using a windscreen. Now let's weigh and see how much gas we used to get it to a boil. Okay, so what were our results? Well, without a windscreen, it took 4 minutes, approximately 4 minutes to get it to a boil, and we used about 17 grams of fuel out of our canister. With a windscreen, and again, very safe, I want to point out a couple of things. When I had the windscreen up, you could see that one entire side was completely open. I could touch the outside of the windscreen all the way around, and it was not hot at all. And I could put my hand in between the windscreen and the cylinder all the way around, and it was not hot at all. My hand was not uncomfortable, so I don't think there's any way that the cylinder was getting hot. With that windscreen basically covering half one side, the side where the wind was coming through, it only took 2 minutes and 42 seconds, which was 1 minute and 18 seconds shorter than without a windscreen. It also used 13 grams of fuel, which is 4 grams less than without a windscreen. So after all, we ended up proving our point just a little more safely this time. So there you have it. It is safe, I believe, to do it in this way. You have to be really careful. Make sure you give plenty of ventilation. You don't want that canister to get hot at all. Simply use your windscreen to block the wind and you'll be doing just fine. What else did I learn from this? Well, first of all, sometimes you gotta put your pride aside. You gotta think, you gotta use your brain, and you just gotta look objectively at what's going on. I put together something that wasn't very smart. I never thought about it, but it was pointed out to me. Now I had two choices. I could either just say, hey, screw you guys. I'm right, no big deal, nobody's gonna blow up. Or I could stop and think like I did and say, not a good idea, and I appreciate everybody pointing it out. There is so much knowledge out there, guys, all you have to do is seek it. I've said a million times that I love sharing my knowledge on YouTube, but what I love even more is gaining more knowledge. This situation where I thought something would work well, and it was pretty quickly pointed out to me that it wasn't a good idea. That's what YouTube's all about. Learning, learning, learning. The best part of being a doctor is that I'm always learning. Things change all the time, new medications are released, I have to learn about them, new treatments, all that stuff. Same thing here for my second job, YouTube, always learning. Always have to be humble enough to know when you're wrong and change it. Lastly, many people commented on the value of a windscreen with an alcohol stove. I think it's a great idea, and I hear another video coming on. Pretty soon I'm going to be releasing a video where I look at the effectiveness of a windscreen with an alcohol stove. I'm going to use one of my DIY alcohol stoves and see what kind of improvement in boil time do we get with and without that windscreen. And the best part of that video is there is no chance I'll blow anything up. If you like this video, guys, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up down below. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And if you want to be the first to know if we release videos, hit the ding dong bell and you'll be the first to know. As always, I really appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD. I appreciate everyone's input. This particular situation really just showed, I think, the positive of YouTube. You get to learn so much, and as long as you pay attention and you learn, it can be fun for everybody. So thanks to everybody who commented. If you have any other comments, please leave them down below. I love reading and responding to as many as I can. As always, guys, I appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD channel, and stay tuned for more videos soon.